Hey guys, we're doing a lot of dangerous dynamic stuff on this show. Don't try this stuff at home. As a SEAL for 12 years, I learned quick that testing and evaluation are critical. I want to have the zip ties knuckle to knuckle. You have no idea what works and what doesn't until the bullets actually start flying. And now that I'm out, I get tons of people asking me all the time about their favorite TV shows and movies. What's realistic and what isn't? Well, there's only one way to find out. It's time to put Hollywood to the test. I'm Dom Rosso, and this is Media Lab. There's always a way, wouldn't you agree? And what I'm talking about is that there's always an option, whether you find yourself in a threat scenario or an everyday situation. There's always an option you can find in your environment to change the odds. There's a couple of scenarios we're gonna break down in a couple of scenes, and one of my favorite scenes is bringing in your environment, and it's from Bourne Supremacy. The main thing is when he produces his blade and you want to start creating space and using your environment, you've got to create distance. If he fully extends his blade, what do I have right here? I can't reach him as well as he can reach me. He's got this blade into my neck. So how do I even the playing field? He grabs a magazine, and you can see this. If you actually look it up, look up Millwall brick. What's paper made out of? It comes from wood, right? So if this is solid and you roll this up tightly, you can actually use this as a weapon. You can see how hard this can actually get with a few good strikes, that I can have something that's gonna be effective striking this guy. So he extends again. Now I extend. Now I've got something that can hit him just as effectively. I can dig into his bones. I can clear his arm out of the way, strike forward. All these things work. So what we're gonna do is he's gonna put this blade back in his pocket. I don't know which hand it's gonna come from, and I gotta move back, roll this up under stress, and be able to clear his hand out and do a couple of effective strikes. How'd that feel?
Well, those shots to the hand definitely, if they were full force, would have knocked the blade right out of my hand, and then those straight thrusts to the face were pretty powerful.
Yeah, there's no question, you know, when you roll these things up right and you actually get them to be really hard, you can see this thing has a lot of force to it. So at the end of the day, what you have to understand is you have to manipulate your environment, but this has nothing to do with magazines or any other tool that you're grabbing. It's about your mindset. So what we're gonna talk about is, you might have seen the movie Killer Elite. It's got one of my favorite actors in it, Robert De Niro. What he does is he's applying his mindset, and he's taking off his jacket in order to fend off a blade to close the distance on his attacker. Let's check it out. This is a great scene, because we're always talking about there's always a way, right? In a subway, urban environment. So here, they're getting this close quarter scenario. He produces the blade, so what does he do? He uses his environment, grabs the jacket, wraps it around his wrist, short strikes with the elbow, manipulates him with the jacket, and of course he muffles him here with a couple of smacks to the face. It's using your environment. There's always a way. Let's take this and put it to the test. So in the movie Killer Elite, when Robert De Niro is going down the escalator, his opponent locks eyes with him and sees him coming down. When's it ever a good idea to give up the space that you've already taken? Which is exactly why De Niro is able to sneak up on him, because he loses visual of him. So he tucks behind the corner. That gives him a chance to maneuver whatever way he wants to, allows him to sneak up. He comes up and he has the element of surprise. He clearly sees the blade and the weapon that he's using. So why not trap this arm, right? Get the element of surprise, trap it here, and now do your strikes from head button, elbows, knees, go high, low, and then try to knock him out to make him forget that he even has a blade in his hand, right? Take his will to fight away. So instead of doing that, he sneaks up, whistles, does a little jab here, pushes him out into the open. And after they get out here, and they have this reactionary gap built, once he does this first swing, you can see it kind of hit him in the movie, like, okay, I gotta even the playing field, what can I do? There's always a way, use your environment. He's got a jacket on, so he takes it off, he ends up wrapping it around his arm.
Yeah, I've seen that exact tactic used in some World War II manuals when they used to teach hand-to-hand to the special services to wrap that jacket around their arm to fend off blade attacks.
It's amazing what combatives you see come out of World War II and all the basics, right? Stick to the basics. So here he takes his first swing. He ends up blocking high, right? He's able to recock and re-engage. Once he hits this low strike, he wraps his arm up. He still has the ability to throw a couple of strikes. He throws 2 elbows to the head. Once he does that, he goes right into a throat wrap with the jacket, which is great. Right now he's got control over him. Boom, he's slamming him right into this newspaper box. Ends up stunning him a little bit and ends up falling down. This part right here, you know, you never want your opponent to actually see you, right? Because again, that's back to the element of surprise. So what's great about this is he covers the guy's face with his jacket. So not only can he not see him punching, but now he's muffling any sound that he's making. It's a public place, right? So trying to keep it quiet and do it discreet. Boom, he lays a strike on. Now he's got other targets he's going to, so this isn't his primary focus. He's trying to get by here. Kicks the blade away. Maybe if he comes back and he's conscious, he's searching around for the blade, a little stunned. But his primary mission is to get through this guy, right? So he didn't spend much time with him. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna go in full speed, and we're gonna break that down right now. All right, guys, there's always a way, right? Not gonna be the last time you hear us talking about use your environment. So, you know, like we saw De Niro using this, wrapping his arm to close the distance. In the beginning, we saw Bourne use the newspaper to close the distance. Both awesome tools to use your environment. And I thought it was awesome breaking those things down.
Yeah, I thought this worked really well. It's better than I had anticipated, especially that choke. It's nice and tight.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up with answering a couple of questions that are coming in for the social media. First question is gonna be, if I don't feel comfortable with guns, should I carry mace or a knife? So it's a good question. Obviously, if you're not comfortable with guns, that's cool. I always recommend getting comfortable with them, respecting them, and training with them. But if you're not and you've identified that, mace or a knife are both great tools, learning how to train with them and learning how to apply them. I personally would rather carry a knife because it won't run out. It's a great tool, it's solid, and you can do a lot of damage with it, where mace, there's a lot of guys I've seen fight through that pain. I know if you spray me right now and you have a committed attacker, that's not gonna stop me. So it's a good tool for some attackers, but it's not gonna affect all. If you become proficient with a knife, it's absolutely a great tool you can apply to defend yourself. Next question, what is my favorite movie? One of my favorite movies, directed by Robert De Niro, called The Bronx Tale. It's got a little bit of everything in there. There's a lot of loyalty, there's family, there's a lot of passion in that movie, and it was really well done. So great movie by De Niro. That's one of my favorites. That's it for this episode of Media Lab, guys. Awesome breaking those scenes down. We look forward to seeing you next time.